Good day. Today we're just going to go through a brief overview of doing a check for your Edu.dex CHE submission. So in the system, what you do is you select the home on the when by default when you log in, you'll be on home. So we're going to go to more, and we're going to select Edu.dex. And as always, you need to always have the access rights that you require. System access rights in order to work in the area. So if you're a full system administrator, you should be able to work in here. So what this does is on each tab, it looks for errors for you. In general, you'll only be working off the institution, qualification, staff, and student errors tabs. So as you can see, I don't have any issues on my Hilton campus. Okay, the qualifications are set up fine. So now I'm going to deal with the actual errors. So let's look at this first one. So what are the issues with James Batterby? Okay, everything is fine. He's got some issues with personal details. Okay. So what we're going to do is anything with an X means that there's a problem. Anything with a green tick means that everything's attended to. So when you come in, you see that the contact details are fine. Qualification and employment details are fine, but we have some errors here. So let's see what needs to be fixed here. Okay, so they say these need to be done and these need to be done. So let me do these first. So I'm going to set the gender, set the home language. Okay, so after this saves, that will update. So we now only have 2 errors. Okay, so let's fix those. And these, yeah, the equity and the socioeconomic status. So we're going to set that and okay. So that's done. So now let's deal with address details. Okay, let's fix it. So you must enter the person's home address province. Okay, so there's no province here. But also you can see all of this is really messed up. So if we do that, it activates the Google search. So what I'm going to do is use Google to put the correct one. So I'm just going to use this and it will automatically fill out everything for me. Okay, so now I've only got one address problem. When an address is outside of South Africa for the submission, what you need to do is have the postal code as 4 zeros. So if you have these 4 zeros, that's fine, and obviously you won't have a province because it's outside South Africa. So now we've fixed all of those issues. So let's see if we can find one. Okay, so this is another thing that happens with staff. You need to make sure that the employment record's up to date. So when you fix it, you need to fill in all of this kind of detail. So what is it that they do? What's their title? When did they start? When did they end? Remember that there are staff members who are part of your academic staff for a certain period and then they may leave. But for the time that they worked at your institution, you need to have that record because there were students that were taught by them at that time. So if you have any audit queries or anything, you'll have that there. So you put the category of the staff member, whether they're full-time or part-time, how the employment at the institution, what the highest qualification was, and FTE of 1 means they were full-time and of 0.5 means part-time. You can put your institution name there and put them as internal. If you just want to put the institution name there because they like external contracted, then you won't say that it's an internal appointment, that you appointed them via your HR. You just put the name of the company that they work for that's contracted to you, and then you can click Save. Okay, so that'll deal with your employment record. Okay, so that's for employment and all the details for staff. So let's go to students. So for a student, in general, you'd be keeping this up to date annually. So what you'd want to do is do a check every year for that batch of students. So all your current students. So the current year that you're in. So we know it's the Hilton campus. I'm going to look at this qualification, and I'm just going to start because I only have 3 intakes. I'm going to have a look at the 2020 group, 2018 group. System pulls them up and then shows the errors. Okay, so let's see what this one has. Stuff that I fixed on staff, I won't fix on the student because it's just an example. So let's see. National ID number is not valid. So what that means is you would have to go down and edit here, and then come to this section and change that national ID. Right, so that's one that's different. All the other stuff is simple. The date of birth goes here. Those 2 things are missing. We don't have the we don't have the equity code and socioeconomic status, so those 2 are there. Okay, so let's look at some qualification errors. So it says here you must enter the student learner achievement type. So let's have a look at that. And there's the achievement type as nothing. So what I'm going to do is edit and then set that to, this is an on-site learner, so I'm going to make them residential learning. Okay, wait for this to refresh. And you now see that we have one error, and this error is that the learner isn't enrolled into any modules for this qualification. So to do that, we now need to just click register modules and then select the modules that the learner is in, and then this error will go away. Okay, let's see if there's any other stranger errors. Nothing for qualification. So those are in general the types of errors that you'd get. And that's just a brief overview of fixing them in the system. So I hope this was useful. Just remember, red tick is a problem, a red cross is a problem, and green tick means that that section has been attended to and is ready for the submission. Just bear in mind that anything with a red X at this level, before you expand it, will not be submitted. So if there's somebody that you don't want to submit, you can also leave them with an error on them and know that they won't be submitted. By submission, I mean that when you create the files and you choose those and you download the files to submit them, they won't be included in that data extract. So that's just a brief overview of working with the Edu.dex checker and creating the files for submission. I hope you found this useful. And again, if you have any questions or queries, please contact us at support, SUPPORT, at studentmanager.co.za. Thank you and goodbye.